Last night, bit of a kind of curveball came at us when we were actually going out for a bite of dinner last supper sort of a thing, and we find out from back home. We're here in Charlotte. We find out from back home that Steve Clarke has fallen on his sword, resigned as Scotland manager. Total lack of communication, total lack of class and courtesy actually from the SFA. And yet here we are. I kind of just feels a really unsatisfactory ending to a really unsatisfactory campaign, Scott.
Certainly does. I'd be lying, Dan, if I said I wasn't surprised by the news. Maybe it was just the timing of it. It was so unexpected. Also, it was about 1 a.m. UK time. It was at 8 o'clock over here, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
So I was surprised. Post Brazil, I thought Steve Clarke did look a bit like a broken man and looked like a guy that might want to chuck it. But obviously in the background there was that new 4-year deal. So you're thinking, is he really going to walk away for that, having been given it just before the tournament? But I just think the nature of the campaign, how it's gone, when there was so much expectation, so many promises made, and ultimately the manager and the team failed to deliver, and I think it's really affected them, and that's resulted in this decision.
Well, Keith, as Scott rightly says, we're talking here on the 28th of June. It was the 28th of May that Steve Clarke signed a new 4-year deal, and he's lasted 4 weeks. Why sign that deal if you thought if we have a tournament doesn't go our way? Why? It
does feel a bit. It feels a bit of a knee jerk. I don't think Steve Clarke has handled this tournament well. I think he's been snappy at times. I think he's been prickly. Yes, Steve, prickly at times. I just feels as if it's all got a bit too much for him. I think that he kind of went into his default position in terms of he's dealing with the media and his strategy on the pitch. For the Morocco game, that was a game that ultimately, I think somebody's pointed out now, we could have beaten Haiti by 7 goals. It wouldn't have made a jot of a difference in terms of qualification in third place. What we needed was a point, and I think he gave up the right to try and get a point against Morocco by being so cagey and cautious and typically Steve Clarke. Ultimately, that's cost us. I tell you what, I do believe though, I think that this was probably something that was discussed at the time of him signing the 4-year deal. If this campaign goes south, then there's an exit strategy. I don't believe for a second that Steve Clarke's walked away from 4 years worth of money. So I think there was probably an arrangement in place. Plus the fact, you look at it last night, there was a statement that was written. There's a long statement. That wasn't cobbled together in 5 minutes. That's been sitting ready to go. And as soon as our position in this tournament was confirmed, i.e. we're out of it, someone pressed the button on it. So this is something that I'm sure the SFA, they've not been blindsided by it. They knew it was coming. Steve Clarke knew he was going to do it. Why they did it in the manner they've done it is just typically cack-handed and perfectly sums up this entire tournament.
I don't disagree, Dan, with Jacko, that I think there probably was an arrangement in place that if the tournament went really badly, then something would be ironed out. But it is worth pointing out, Ian Maxwell and Mike Mulroney were both asked specifically about that when the contract was signed. Are there any clauses? Are there any breaks in it? Steve Clarke was also asked. All 3 guys categorically denied. It was a straight 4-year deal, 2 campaigns, no hidden clauses. So where I maybe disagree with Jacko slightly, I think there's a chance that the SFA kind of hierarchy could have been a bit surprised by his decision. To me, I do believe it's knee-jerk, but I genuinely believe Steve Clarke has just been so bruised by this campaign and the way these 3 games have gone, obviously the reaction after it, that he's just decided enough's enough. And No, I think the SFA probably be surprised by his decision, because I think they would have probably stuck with him for the next campaign, irrespective of how this one went. But they've obviously sat down post Brazil and thought we need to come to some sort of arrangement here. And listen, you're guessing in terms of kind of financial package. No, I don't imagine for a minute he's getting 4 years' money when he's only 4 weeks into a contract. But you've got to imagine that they've come to some sort of arrangement where they meet, they find some middle ground, and Steve Clarke gets something, to walk away. But the SFA, I suppose, relatively unscathed kind of financial wise after agreeing the 4 year deal.